Welcome to another edition of the Postgame Wrap. I'm Jarret Johnson, and the Red Raiders, man, they dropped another tough one. They lost 82-77 in overtime to Oklahoma State. This loss drops Texas Tech to 8-3 overall and just 1-2 in Big 12 play. They're 0-2 at home in the Big 12, and that's just something we're not used to seeing. We're not used to seeing Texas Tech lose really almost to anyone at home. Now, it's different. Obviously, they don't have the packed USA because of the COVID, the restrictions. But still, just it's very troubling to see Texas Tech drop to 1-2 in conference play. This is a team that has a lot of expectations behind it coming into the season. Even going into this game was ranked 13th in the country. So big loss. Red Raiders, just right out the gate, Oklahoma State played like the hungry team. They had lost their first two Big 12 games by really, really close margins, really like one or two possessions. So they came out hungry. They got the first shot in. They punched Texas Tech in the face first, and Tech was reeling, and really they were down by as much as 12 points in the first half. Around double digits in the second half, and then Texas Tech made a run. They started playing with more aggressiveness. They made the run with their defense. They actually knocked down some threes today, and they made their free throws up until overtime. Then they missed, I believe, like 4 big free throws that really cost them in overtime. Mac McClung had a pretty good game. He scored 21. I think he led all scorers today in that game, but he fouled out late, which would come back to haunt Texas Tech, and I'll get to that in a minute. Kyler Edwards, for the most part, in terms of his stat line, coming off the bench. Now, he started the second half, but he came off the bench in the first half, and he had 18 points, a good game. Now, Terrence Shannon had a quiet 13 points. He didn't get a lot of shots. He only shot 5 times. I don't understand that. I don't understand why Shannon didn't get the ball more, but he didn't. He scored 13 points on 5 shots. He also had I believe 4 rebounds. So Shannon, I feel like, was undervalued. And, I think that takes us to those 3 guys really takes us to the final possession. Tech was in overtime. Now, Kyler Edwards had just knocked down a big 3. He missed 2 free throws, but Shannon tied up the ball to force, a tie ball, and the possession arrow luckily was in Tech's favor. Edwards gets an open 3. He knocks it down. Clutch 3 late. Tech gets a stop on the other end, comes down, calls a timeout. 11 seconds left. Now, McClung had fouled out, I believe, in the final minute of the game. That's who you would have had the ball, given the ball to for the final shot. But he wasn't available. So you're thinking Shannon gets the ball, right? No. Beard goes to Edwards, who promptly throws the ball away. Now, Edwards also, it was a tie game late. Tech had the ball, and he was called for a moving screen. Now, whether you call that kind of call at the end of a game, that's debatable. But he was moving and made contact, so it was, by the letter of the law, a moving screen. This came after Tech was called for a very highly questionable foul on a 3-point shot attempt that Cade Cunningham for Oklahoma State, he actually he created that foul, and he went to the line and knocked all 3 down. He would foul out in that game as well. So, it was very confusing to me why Kyler Edwards, despite having a good game, was given the ball, because it's just not really his role. He's proven time and time again he's a good supporting player, but I don't want to put the ball in his hands at the end of the game if you got to win. It's McClung and Shannon, and I'm not sure that's the right order, but those are the 2 guys you give the ball to. But they didn't do it. And Edwards threw the ball away. Oklahoma State got layup on the other end as time expired, and they won 82-77 in overtime. And like I said, this is a big loss for Texas Tech. They have dug them, just like they have in big games this year. They have dug themselves a hole in the season in terms of the Big 12. And now it's going to be tough to dig themselves out. Now they play Kansas State on Tuesday back at the USA, so we'll see if I think that's a 6 p.m. tip-off, by the way. Let's see if Tech can dig themselves out of that hole. And there were some very confusing things. It seemed like a marathon game, like several games within a game. But there was times where Beard just basically benched all his starters and put in guys off the bench, and they played well. I mean, I thought Burnett made some plays. I thought Avery Benson made some good plays, had some assists and some charges taken. Tyreek Smith, I continue to question why he doesn't get more time. There's got to be a good reason. because Beard seems to get after him a lot. But when he's in there, he makes, blocks, gets offensive rebounds, dunks. They just seem like a different team when he's in there. I thought also Marcus Santos Silva played all right. He didn't have a terrible game. He had some big blocks. He made some hoops. He actually made some clutch free throws late that were really good. So there were times that Tech got beat up on the boards too, and Oklahoma State got some extra opportunities which they cashed in on. So, guys like Isaac Likely, the Boons, they played really well, I feel like, and that's the reason why Oklahoma State was able to win the game. I think they were more aggressive for the entire game. Now, they had their problems too, especially late in regulation, but they came out, they made a statement early, and then they made the plays in overtime to win. So, yes, there's questionable calls like there is in almost every basketball game, but I just feel like Tech, man, I feel like they're underperforming their talent right now, and it's frustrating. While overall that game was entertaining, especially in the second half, if you're a Tech fan, you gotta be very frustrated at this point. You gotta be frustrated with the lack of late game execution. You gotta be confused by some of the rotation choices. And it's Chris Beard. He's one of the best coaches that Tech's ever had in the history of its athletic program. So, on one hand, you hesitate to question some of his calls, but then on the other hand, it's just you're trying to figure out some of the decisions being made. So we'll have to see. It's early on in the fight, as Coach Beard likes to say. They still have, I believe, 15 more rounds, 15 more Big 12 games to go. So we'll have to see how Tech can bounce back. It starts with Kansas State back at home on Tuesday at 6 p.m. So with that, I want to thank you for watching, and until next time.